All right, let's change gears a little bit. You're supposed to be seeing Vumuzi on your screen right now, but we have this interview that's just come in. The African National Congress distancing itself from controversial businessman Brown Mogotsi. The party says Mogotsi's membership has lapsed and therefore he is not a member. Mogotsi has been heavily implicated in the Madlanga Commission after evidence of his alleged relationship with the controversial tenderpreneur Vumuzi Matlala and the police minister Senzo Mchunu. Let's talk quickly to Brown Mogotsi, who has joined us this evening. Mr. Mogotsi, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time. Let's start with the clarity around your membership of the ANC. What is your status in the party?
Not only me, thank you for actually inviting me, Tolly. We are about 438 members who are on the grace period, which is expiring at the end of October. And that I'll probably have to give you evidence before the end of this interview. I'm a member of the ANC, and I shall remain a volunteer of the African National Congress. That's the status.
Yeah. And the comments of the Secretary General, Fikile Mbalula, suggesting that you are not the kind of a cadre that the party needs or wants to have within its ranks. Do you believe that it is part and parcel of why they are now seeking to distance the party from people like you?
Yeah, that is his view. Let me tell you, he's relying on messages that are being, presented to the commission. I thought, as the Secretary General of the oldest movement in the continent, he will allow the rule which he actually mentioned, the Audi Altram. Now, for him to quickly arrive at a conclusion and say, this is a cadre, I would like to draw you to the attention of his actions. Previously, for example, when he went away with Vumuzi, who was later convicted and sentenced. We cannot say he's a criminal or he should not be a Secretary General on the basis that he was with a convicted criminal. And therefore, for him to point me out of 438 members who are on grace, and say I should not be a member of the ANC is very immaterial. Of course, the African National Congress has the power to say we will terminate your contract, but that should not be on the basis of the allegations emanating from the Madlanga Commission.
If the party decides to take action against you based on what has come out of the Madlanga inquiry, are you willing to accept that, or are you going to fight your possible expulsion?
No, there's no need to fight. Let me tell you, Tony, even a member of the Methodist Church, if he's expelled from church, that won't stop him from praying. The issue that I appeared on this Madlanga thing should not be used as the pretext to say I should be removed as a member of the ANC and whatever. The processes, the structures of the ANC from the branch level, they should charge me. I don't know what instrument are they going to utilize in terms of, are they going to go to Madlanga evidence and bring it to the branch and charge me There's no way. I can actually voluntarily step aside now so that Fikile Mbalula must never talk about me and talk to me. Our relationship is that of a member of the ANC. I can do that. There's no problem. I can write to my branch and say, put me aside, let me not entertain the ANC, because Fikile is bringing this whole thing into this Madlanga Commission. Yeah. And remember, Fikile is a former Minister of Police. He should know better that the application of the Section 205 it's a must, be produced in the Commission to link those that are being suspected or that are central to whatever that suspected of.
So what is your what is your decision right now as you think of your next options? I'm trying to understand your thinking. You are saying you could choose to step aside, but clearly you have not done that. What is your sense? Are you saying that what is being said at the commission, you have your own version? If so, what is it that you're going to tell that commission?
No, the commission is subject to the process when we arrive at the commission. Let me give you an example. The provincial secretary of the ANC, he just came out and said my membership expired in 2022. The man is never in office. Maybe he comes to the office 5 times a year. I have, that I'm saying I'm going to share with you before the end of the interview, a proof that on the 11th, the secretary of the branch downloaded the membership where I appear as number 16, the branch, together with the other, we are 438 in total. So the provincial secretary cannot just say I'm not a member. But let me respond to your question. I'm saying to avoid this commotion, finding myself as an ordinary man having to be on this very sour path with the national secretary of the ANC, talking things up and down. I can step aside. I'm prepared. And the rule, the step aside rule, provides for a person to be given a chance to respond. And it also only applies when you are criminally charged. General Mkonazi said there's nothing against me to charge me with. Hence, I said, one of the interviews, this is utilized, is actually used to target Senzo Mchunu. There's nothing that man has done. They are relying on WhatsApp messages which were just screenshot without 205. How are they going to come to conclusion that it's indeed I have sent Ket Matlala messages?
Did you use the minister's name in order to try get monies from Vumuzi Ket Matlala?
There's no way I can use minister's name to acquire 138,000. I'm not a well-off businessman, but that amount of money, I cannot use a minister for that. Remember, Mr. Senzo Mchunu to me is a comrade. We do not have any relationship in relation to tenders. And get this right. Remember, when this whole thing was reviewed, it is Minister Senzo Mchunu, out of his discretion, who decided to cancel and terminate Vumuzi Matlala's tender. Vumuzi Matlala is found, let me say, former Minister Bheki Cele calling him, former Minister Bheki Cele in his house. No one is talking about that. Even General Khumalo in his old messages. It seems like they only call each other 20, 30 times. They never shared WhatsApp messages. They are not prepared to bring that on board, to say, yes, Bheki Cele did speak to Vusi and so forth and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it is Senzo Mchunu who cancelled the tender which was awarded to Vumuzi Matlala.
Your relationship with Vumuzi Ket Matlala, how would you characterize that? Did those messages that were at the commission, that were shown at the commission, are they true? Are they real?
Once I say the 205 should be provided, it means we should await the outcome. Evidence leaders should lead the evidence. I hope they'll be able to produce the 205 report that says we should not, whatever that is happening is there.
I'm not sure I get what you mean. Are you saying that the messages are real or not?
Some of the messages, look, I cannot recognize all the messages. I don't know what is it that has been planted. Remember, once it's a screenshot, and when there is no 205 report, it means we cannot rely totally in those messages.
But did you at any point ask for monies from Brown Mogotsi? I mean, rather from Vumuzi Ket Matlala?
Yes, and we've been, of course, doing this and that. He also paid for the January 8 accommodations and some travelings. Yes, I did engage him on that. You remember now where the entire South Africans is focusing on, the 10,000 and the 12,000. He did not even pay it. It was to assist some comrades in the Eastern Cape. Bona, colleague, check the lists of the people who went to Cape Town. It's across the country. Some came from Mpumalanga, the Northern Cape, Free State, Eastern Cape, Gauteng. It was to ensure that we bring as many as many comrades to the event as possible.
Yeah.
The ANC itself cannot cater for all the members of the ANC to attend the January 8th celebration. It's the work of the ANC to volunteer and ensure that one is able to assist in one way or the other.
All right, let's close the conversation on this point, Mr. Mogotsi, and that is that the party is pained by the actions that you have taken using the name of the party, and they are saying it is people like you that bring the party into disrepute. And by the way, I'm learning that you are no ordinary member of the ANC. You are a former MK combatant, and that means that you are a significant member of the party. What is it that possessed you to do such things? Because as no ordinary member, you should know better. Am I wrong?
No, you are putting you are advancing your opinion, and the question is very relevant. Let me get to it. Look, one, maybe you should organize another interview. I'll show you some people paid more than 500,000 for the January 18th Cape Town. Cat merely paid 135,000 rand. It is not about being ordinary or being a new member. The relevance of the exercise means an ANC member is a volunteer of the organization. And the part where you say, I've used the name, I was the manager in the office of the treasurer in the province, processing payments and stuff and getting some assistance from business people and so forth. The ANC must say, I have used a letterhead or I've written a message and say, I am so-and-so in the ANC, please help us portraying to be representing the ANC. Vicky Lembalula is bringing this to the Madlanga Commission. He's bringing ANC as a third party affected with merely 5%. Is now bringing it into this thing. It's not about bringing the organization into this recruit. Vicky Lembalula is bringing the ANC into this thing. Look, during the January 8th, he was in a boat. Let me tell you, officials of the ANC, the president and the rest, they were traveling in a boat, 6 of them, to Robben Island. Vicky alone, he came with a very lavish boat owned by a foreign company. Did we say, where did you get this? And him saying, because I'm implicated, his wife in Free State, he was involved in the housing scandal, where he is a direct beneficiary because he's the husband. Did you say, no, Swiki, don't be a secretary general? He flew with Vusi Keke to wherever abroad and they came back. Vusi Keke was finally convicted and sentenced. Did we say, no, Baba, you are related to a murderer? He's a murderer, he's a killer. He's been sentenced. It is because we know when you meet someone, he doesn't say, I'm a thief. Even when you apply for a job, Scully, where you are, you can never say, watch me, I'm a thief. Yeah. A person ends up stealing when he gets there. Even Ket, when I met him, you saw pictures and videos of Ket with the president. He never said, hey, Ramaphosa, I'm a thief. I'm a what? No, whatever he does privately has nothing to do with the discussion you are having with the businessman at the moment.
Yeah.
Or at that particular yes. So he wants to say, let me tell you, Senzo Mkuni here is the target. I'm telling you, watch what Masemola has done. 5 generals were arrested together with 2 brigadiers. Criminally charged, they were out on bail. He did not suspend it. He suspended General Sibiya on a hearsay from Mukonas. I wonder if any police officer in the country will ever allow to be suspended if he's criminally charged for any wrongdoing when the National Commissioner could not.
All right. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this before we end the conversation. Yeah. Were you aware that Ket Matlala's contract with the police was indeed in force, and therefore, for him not to lose that contract, he had to, or you had to make sure that you speak to Senzo Mchunu so that this contract does not end, because that is the subject of these text messages at the Madlanga Commission. So in other words,
it means when
the proximity of the tenderpreneur with an ANC member, this is yourself, in order to get some money, and this money is then channeled to the ANC. That's where the nub of the issue is it not?
Yeah, it may be perceived as such. Only the office of the Treasurer General can perhaps meet with the business person and do whatever. Let me tell you, the moment you talk of messages which I believe should be subjected to the process of the commission, that I'm also saying I'm not satisfied with what I'm seeing. Some of the messages, I don't even know them. It means we have to wait for the commission. But in a nutshell, let me tell you, how can I suck 10,000 and 100,000 from a man to protect his contract who won 300 million contract? Why couldn't I say, Mona, give me 10 million? This is very, you need to watch. This, you must check. Ngesintu bathi vula amehlo ukwazi ukuqonda lento njenjani. Jonge calculator. I can't ask 10,000 to save 300 million. I could have arranged a meeting for Ket and the minister. I don't have. My proximity is not business related, even social. He's a comrade. But the part where I'm saying I'll be able to expand in the commission should be left for that process to unfold going forward.
Yeah. All right. So at no point did you ever use Minister Mchunu's name in order, as you put it, to suck monies from Ket Matlala? Not even only Ket Matlala, nobody.
Okay, like I'm saying, here's 300 million. I know you have 300 million. 10. How do I ask 10,000? How do I ask 100,000? Me and Minister Mchunu, we talk about it. We are not conversant with Mahike. There is a building called the TTA, which was formerly the Tswana Land Territorial. It was the headquarters of Gaborone here. Botswana was here. It then moved to Botswana. Botswana, new dispensation came. It became now the headquarters of the Northwest Province.
Yeah.
The headquarters of the police with the training college was moved to Potchefstroom. Those are issues I was able to raise with the minister to say, please, let's have the headquarters of the police in the Northwest, in Mahikeng in particular.
Yeah.
Because you got your Bojana in Rustenburg, which is mining orientated, Vryburg, where there is Mumpati is too much of agriculture, Blackdog Posh, there is mining and stuff like that. Only Mahikeng was meant to be the administrative hub of the province, because there's no mineral, there's nothing, no factories, only administration. Even today, the MEC of safety is in Mafike, the provincial commissioner is in Potchefstroom.
All right.
Making it very difficult to function, yes.
Okay, so your argument, Brown Mogotsi, as we end the conversation, is that if you are being labeled as corrupt for what you have allegedly done, therefore, Fikile Mbalula should also be in the same situation. Is that your argument?
As a member of the ANC, if he accuses me that I should not be a member because I'm linked to Ket, when he was linked, when he is actually linked, they even brought R. Kelly together with Vumuzi. Yes, he can as well step aside with a convicted criminal. And someone who Ket is not yet convicted, Ket is not found guilty, he is actually arrested for attempted murder. But now, bring the two. Why is it that Brown Mogotsi, I wish you could come to my game. Like, hey, man, I can't believe this. I can't believe this.
All right.
Fikile should subject himself and behave like a Secretary General. Where I stay in Mahikeng, the first Secretary General of the ANC, Solomon Chekisop, is a street away from me. He's not the first. He's not the first Secretary General I know. Kalema Mutante, Gwedemantash, they used to be Secretary General. Even yourself, when they said the Secretary was going to speak, you would stop your car and wait. Fikile is always on media, even his spokesperson. I don't know what word to use. She can't address the issues of the African National Congress on the media. Everything, even now, he's looking for my criminal record. Let me tell you, maybe tomorrow he'll come on media and say, "Yeah, Brown was arrested for assault. Brown was arrested." That's what he'll do. A CEO of the oldest liberation movement in Africa. That's what he'll do. He'll say Brown Mogotsi is not a member. He'll use local mayors and young boys, Bomoremi, Dibo, Rascal, and talk them, I'm not a member. They don't even know my membership, my branch. It's disgusting.
Brown Mogotsi, thank you very much for your time. Hopefully you will join me in studio at some point so that we can have a look at those documents that you are promising to share with me. But let's end it there for the time being. Thank you very much for your time. All right, before we get into this next story, we have to, as a rule, to give the right of reply to the Secretary General of the African National Congress. A lot of his name was mentioned during that conversation by Mr. Brown Mogotsi, and so it's only fair that we put it out to you, Mr. Mbalula. I know you were here just last week, but this is what is being said about you by Mr. Mogotsi. If you feel that you want to respond to him, the platform is open. We are happy to engage you.